Welcome back to the Desk of Low. If you've been tuned into the show, we're known for interviewing hip hop legends, producers, and personalities. But this season, I really been focused on my TV game, and I wanted to, get some cast members of the show that I've been really into a lot. BMF, man, this show is on season 2 right now, and I gotta tell you guys, if you haven't seen this show, please tap it. It's executive produced by 50 Cent, and it's also based on the real life story of Big Meech and Southwest T, Black Mafia family. Man, this gentleman right here, he appeared in other TV shows like Power. He's also in a couple of movies, but right now he's in his biggest role to date, portraying one of the, he's actually a real character that he portrays in the show. Man, I got the one and only Rayan Lawrence.
You're good. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, my guy. So, being from Brooklyn, you wanted to be an FBI agent. I understand that you got your degree in criminal justice right now. Now, I'm curious right now, like, why did you want to be an FBI agent growing
up? It's crazy, man. Like, I just had a feel for just like investigation work, man, and just wanting to make a difference, in the community. Even though really FBI doesn't really deal with the community, but obviously you'll make your start from doing being on the what do you say, the beat cop. What I mean? You do that for about 5 years. So I probably had to start out doing that and making that little difference in the community, and eventually get to capital punishment crimes, right? Raping and homicides. So that would have been my biggest thing, and I would have definitely want to go after the biggest criminals because you don't want to see that kind of stuff happening in our community, let alone anywhere in the world. You know what I mean?
Now, like, for getting a degree in criminal justice and taking, acting to a full-time career, when was that turn for you when from, being from Brooklyn, it's like, I can really do this acting thing? Because I understand that your first audition was from a ESPN commercial.
Yes. You know what? It's crazy because, I just had a feel like it was just nothing that I was doing at the moment in regards to like, I don't think I had a regular job at the time. I think I was just going to school. Okay. And then I was like, man, why don't I just get into acting? Because people would tell me, hey, you got to look. So I was like, I'm bored. Let me try it. I went to King's Plaza in Brooklyn, New York, and took some pictures. Went to that place that wanted to work with me. And I saw the newspaper, the Daily News, and from then on, I got that ESPN audition, booked it, and I thought, okay, maybe this is something I could start. And then I was balancing, I'm modeling and acting at the same time. And while I was in school, I was like, man, this is kind of what I want to do instead of being an FBI agent, right? Because I thought as well, because as you get older, all right, so when you're younger growing up, you got no worries about anything. So you'll feel you could be an FBI agent and you're bulletproof, sort of say. But as you get older, as you get older, you'd be like, man, you know what? I could get killed in these streets for real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true.
I think about the hard work that I put in just my work ethic is crazy. So I was like, man, I could really get some real trouble being a real FBI agent. So the acting, if I could be an FBI agent acting, all right, you know what I mean? I could pull that off and not be in danger that you'll see in real life. So I think that's what made me solidify, okay, this is the career path I want to do. I can be an FBI agent. Growing up, wanting to also be an NBA or being in the NFL, I can be all those types of characters.
Now, like, that's your dream role too, is being a play the FBI agent too. So it makes sense as well. Now, like being from, actually that story's actually inspiring now too, because being from Brooklyn, ESPN, then you start getting like, is it like I just wanna make sure this is true. Were you in Jay-Z 99 Problem videos?
Yeah. You're a true hip hop head. Yes, sir. I was. Yeah, I was, and that was dope to be in that video because, man, Jay-Z is an icon, and I got featured, as you can see in that video, where they go to Jay-Z, they go back to me. So I thought that was pretty prominent. Both of us from Brooklyn, and he's who he is, and I'm on the up and coming and be able to get really magnified in this music video like that.
Now, it's also going to lead into my next question too, because it's like it kind of is hip hop related too. Because like I also noticed too when I did my research on you, I'm like, wow, he's getting like like not big roles, but he's getting like customer roles in like Barbershops 3. And then, but I noticed in your interviews that nobody brings this up. Okay, did you play Treach by Naughty by Nature in the Tupac film All Eyes on Me?
I did. So what happened with that, which was crazy, was that I had a nice supporting role on that one.
Yes,
And
sir.
got to meet Money B, because remember Money B was over there from Digital Underground as well. He rolled with Pac and Humpty Hump. So that movie, what happened is I got cut out the movie. So I had a nice supporting role, but eventually I got cut out the movie where you would just see me in two scenes, and it would look like I was an extra. But I actually had a really nice supporting role as Treach. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Things happen where sometimes the character ends up on a cutting room floor, and unfortunately, it was one of my characters. But it was to work with Benny, Benny Boom from the hip hop world, doing all those music videos, and being able to go back in my roots, because I grew up on hip hop. So
Yeah.
to be able to play Treach, and be part of Naughty by Nature in this movie was dope, and be there every day and listen to the different people that would come on set. Even my friend Khadija, who played Queen Latifah, she got cut out of it as well. But the research that she did on Queen Latifah, like, I can tell you this, and I haven't told anybody else, and I know you're a hip hop head. So when we was on stage, it was one of the scenes that you would see Pac on stage, and we're in the background. And when we were, it was during our lunch, during one of the breaks in between scenes while they were setting up for another scene. Khadijah went on stage, and a matter of fact, the producer LT was like, "Yo, go on stage and because it was extras there, go on stage and show them a Queen Latifah song," and she did UNITY. Yo,
Oh,
everybody was singing. It
oh,
was crazy. You know what I mean? Because remember, you know what? This was back in the '90s, right?
yeah.
So at the time, the extras that's there, they don't really know about the '90s, right?
Yes.
But they all knew the song, and it was dope to see that. And then after that, LT was like, "Yo, Ray, go do a trust." I said, "Nah, bro, I'm not coming after her. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that." But that was my favorite moment on set. Just seeing how the the new school, right, the new hip hop school knew old school Queen Latifah song, and I was like, that was so amazing. And yeah, that was my favorite moment on set.
And with that movie now, I noticed now too, like they released it after Pac's mom died. So it's like, and it's what hearing stories from like what you're saying, like you were like cut out. So it's like, I wonder what else they'd be cutting out behind the scenes and stuff. But I'm glad that didn't,
Yeah.
discourage you, because for most people to be like, man, I did all that work to get cut out. But you stayed on the grind, and like where you're at now.
Right, exactly. And I felt, you know what I mean, even like the day that I was watching it, I even had Russell Simmons sit next to me. So, the seat open next to me, Russell Simmons like, "Yeah, can I sit?" Absolutely. So I even got to sit next to Russell Simmons and watch the movie. And fortunately, I didn't my lines didn't make it, but the whole process was dope. And being on the red carpet and seeing all the different artists, hip hop artists that's there, and they're about to see you on TV, being in the shade room while I was on the red carpet, man, it was just an amazing experience. Unfortunately, I didn't make the final cut, but the whole experience, I'll never forget. I'll
Yeah.
always cherish it, because it made me probably really, this moment that I'm having right now with BMF, the impact is probably more for me, because I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
how low I went in my career to how high I am right now. So
Well, like even like because we got to see, because like I'm a big TV guy, so when I see like I would say I actually it's plenty of times on the show, the Shady Aftermath movement, G Unit was a big impact on my generation. That was my coming up death row. So anything that these gentlemen do, I'm gonna tap in. So with this whole BMF Power Universe, I kind of really got into my TV, and I'm like, this BMF. I remember when he first announced it, I'm like, if he really does this, this is going to be one of the most legendary shows. Like how the Wire is viewed. I think
yeah.
BMF has that potential to be, where the Wire is at one. But this is, off real events. So coming in from season one, we get to see for one scene, and you don't think you're coming back. What's the in between before all that for Mr. Lawrence to get that call back for season two?
Uh, Man, it's doing that one scene. When I initially got the role, I was excited, because I
Yeah,
grew up
let's talk
on
about you
BMF,
getting the role. Yeah.
loving, yeah, loving the culture. So I get to, I get on set, do that one scene, but I've been an artist for a while, so you want more,
Yeah.
and I remember speaking to Randy right after, and Randy was like, I was like, hope we could work together again. And he said, absolutely. And Randy has that poker face. You don't know what's behind it, right? So now I'm not thinking about BMF. I'm working on other projects, and I just get that call out of nowhere, and it was just shocking. Like, wow, oh, this character's coming back for real? Okay. Now, again, I don't know how big the role is. So now I know I'm coming back for a few episodes. So now when I get on set, as soon as I walk on set, the line producer, Ian, is like, uh-oh, K9's on set. So I'm like, oh, this is a different energy to
Oh,
season one. What's going on here?
Trick ass bitch. I told you to bring him to me alive. I want to kill this motherfucker myself. If the nigga was shooting at me, what the fuck was I supposed to do? My instructions were clear. Period. You ain't getting that weight. Business is business. Now clean this shit the fuck up.
So now I go and I sit down and I'm waiting to meet Meech. They was like, hey, so you're gonna go into the rehearsal room. I go there. I want to work with Slick, and Slick is also a hip hop guy too. He does hip hop as well, and he was a director for 2 episodes. So Slick walks in and be like, oh, this is a long time coming because I wanted to work with him for a while. And then he said, did you guys get the script? I said, no. So then I got the script, and I'm looking at him like, oh, this is different. So the jump for it was, for me was like, wow, this is going to be that time I get the opportunity. Because like you said, this show is going to have that impact like how The Wire had. And now, man, I was just forever thankful. And initially I still didn't have all of the scripts, right? For all the scenes, the episodes. I mean, all I kept hearing is this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And I'm like, really? My character does that? And I was like, man, so I called my coach Sheik. We got together, started working on the character, and yeah, that's what you see today. The hard blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this character.
Yeah, for someone to play like Kanan, I was like, yo, you're a humble guy in real life. You can play that character so well, but I wouldn't want to screw with Kanan. Man, I don't know what it is. Like like you've seen The Wire, so I have this tendency of liking like the bad guy, like Stringer Bell, or like in Power, Tommy, or like people like that. So like when I seen Kanan, I was like, oh, I like this guy right here. I wouldn't want to. I like this guy right here. So being how K9 is actually a real person, because like coming up in my generation, we got introduced to BMF through Jeezy, and then we were like we want to know more about BMF, and then that's when we find out. So like when I know about BMF since like 2005, so when I did my research, I'm like, oh, so K9's actually a real person. And what's even crazy, when I found out what his name was, I was like, yo, this is like, and how you play him, so it's like the guy that you portray is Lawrence Dog Newell. And I was like, so when you found all this out, did you find this out in season 1 or season 2 that this was a real person you're portraying?
I found out everything season 2. Well, I did find out season 1 that he was a real person because one of his sons actually reached out to me. He reached out to me on IG, and he was telling me, he hope he does my dad justice. This, and he was also saying, you're Lawrence, so I know you're gonna do my dad justice. So I appreciated that, and I was like, oh, okay. So I knew his name was Lawrence. As season 2 comes, initially I still didn't get enough information on Dog, so I think might have been my second rehearsal. I got with the producer, Heather, and she broke it down to me about a half hour about the background on Dog, and I was like, oh, this is deep. So yeah, that's when I got the information on Dog, and I was like, man, this is gonna be dope to be able to portray a real life character, the impact that he's gonna have on the show. Yeah. And I also appreciate Big Meech for actually showing Lawrence this love, right? Because he could have just left Lawrence out, and then you go to the doc and you listen to what Roland said, and Roland is like, yo, when we met Lawrence, they went to a whole nother level. So I'm appreciative that they put Lawrence in the story, and I'm able to play Lawrence, and my last name happened to be Lawrence. So the connection of me playing his character is amazing.
And it's good to know too, like you actually jump into the role now too, like because I also know too that you went and met his family out in Detroit now
Yeah.
too. Like, so like what I'm curious is because I don't do acting, but like is that like a studio call or is that like a Mr. Lawrence call? It's like because you want to get into it's like I want to go meet his family.
Yeah. Well, what happened? What happened? How we met, ironically, was we was just hanging out in Detroit. We was hanging out in the casino, and I was coming downstairs, and the girl that plays my love interest on the show, Peaches Rama, was at the bar, and I'm walking close to the bar, and all I heard is that a young lady say, "I want to meet K9." So I'm like,
It's
you
like,
know what I mean? It's, to me, I don't. Right, I don't know what it's about. I have no
yeah.
idea. Anyway, so she goes over, she helps another customer, and then we like, what's that about? Anyway, she comes back and she said, "Hey, all I want to know is who's playing K9." That was my man. Ooh, we was like, so we were shocked. Like, what we talking about? So yeah, so it was Stacy. Shout out to Stacy. So she was like, she started showing the pictures on her phone, and she's the bartender in there. So we was like, oh, she for
That's
real.
really her.
Like, this is really, you know what I mean? K9's girl. So anyway, she was like, yeah, it's great to meet you. We've been trying to meet you. His son been trying to meet you. She called his son. He came over and we started talking. And oh man, it was like we knew each other for years. And we went to dinner the next day. Everybody's there. K9's wife, K9's girlfriend, his son's there, and we're hanging out. And for a couple of days, we go back to the casino, hanging out. Then, as I'm there with the cast, one of the guys that used to run with Lawrence was there and was like, "Yo, what's up? I'm hearing you doing your thing, this and the third." His brother KK, wife
Wow.
is there. She comes up. She comes to talk to me and introduce herself. Then calls me FaceTime and I speak to K9's brother at the same time as well. So it was amazing. Like the love that I got when I got to, and they all felt that, they felt the presence of me that I can play this role. And they were hearing good things from the producers and from, because the producers also was hearing from stars that stars loved what I was doing. And yeah, it was an amazing feeling, man. Priceless experience.
See, and it also gives like more thought into the character now too, because when we see this character now too, that's why I wanted to interview you now too, because it's like I want people to know who this gentleman is outside the character, because I was like,
Yeah.
you play this character so well. Every time I see they call him Kane, I was like, his name is Mr. Lawrence, guys, come on.
I like that. I like that, Mr. Lawrence. I like that.
Yes, sir. So I got a couple more questions for you, and I'll let you go. So
Yeah.
I'll take most of your time. Now, like I understand when you were getting prepping for this role now too. Like you love your reggae, I understand now too, but you're listening to a lot of DMX now too. Now I gotta ask, sir, like why the dog? Why DMX? Did you prepping for this role?
I felt growing up on DMX and the lyrics that he spits, that he rhymes, that's exactly what dog was. A rob and a steal. Certain, here we go again. Here we go again. Same old. You know what I mean? Just a different day. Like everything. This was along the lines of what K9 was doing back in the day. So I felt DMX was the perfect person. Right. And remember, his name is Dog, right? DMX is all about dogs,
Yeah.
so it all went hand in hand. And I was like, oh, DMX this is the number one person to listen to. And I would listen to him daily. I even got a little bit of my Tupac, listened a little bit of my Tupac because the knowledge that Tupac had, I was able to incorporate with K9, Jay-Z, with the leadership that Jay-Z has, entrepreneurship that Jay-Z had, able to incorporate that as well. So, but the most of the music that I listened to was DMX, and because all that I just said, Rough Riders, all that stuff, Dog was about, and I was like, oh yeah, he'll be a perfect person to listen to as I, get into this role.
Yeah, because the first time we see you, like like going from like the coaching scene, then you out in the parking lot. It's like, it's like, yeah, I know what you mean by that. DMX is the perfect role to love. Okay, so I see what you mean by now too. But I like how you got into that now too, because from the outside, most fans would be like, "Well, how come he's not listening to like Jeezy or Blue Da Vinci?" It's like because maybe that's not what motivates him to get into the role, and that's what I want people to understand now too. Just because like they were affiliated with doesn't mean you have to go and listen to them. You can draw inspiration from anywhere.
Right. And also they would have to remember the time period, right?
Yes, sir.
So the time period that well, I guess DMX time period was actually late as well. But I believe DMX time period was actually earlier than Jeezy and Blue Da Vinci,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So I
right.
think
Yeah,
that, well,
94 he started at
yeah,
least.
yeah. So DMX was also before that. But yeah, so to me, because it wasn't early 2000s character from then, like maybe somebody who's going to be playing the characters in Atlanta, they may listen to, if they're doing research, to Blue Da Vinci, to Jeezy, because that was around the 2000s time. So that might be something that can kind of motivate them, or they could get something from the lyrics that Blue Da Vinci would say, or uh, Jeezy would say at that time. For me, exactly what I felt Dog was DMX, and DMX was also in the 90s, so it was a little closer to Dog's time, his reign in Detroit. So that's why I felt that would help. But that was one of the old school things that I wanted to research.
Ah, okay. Now, see, like even like with this character being based on a real life person now too, and you already filmed all your scenes, so I want to ask you how it ends. But I have to ask you this now too, because like being in a 50 Cent TV show, man, this is like a really big deal for you now too. Not only is this your biggest role now too, but this is like I said, this could be potentially the next big show as The Wire. I'm sorry to last, but I'm just not feeling you guys right now. I'm feeling more big. uh, but what does 50 Cent had to say about like your significant role in the film, in the TV shows now too? Not like how you played it, like of your job and how you did. Like, what did he say to you personally? I was curious because that probably gave you a lot
Well,
more motivation.
yeah. Well, what he said initially, when he saw me, when he was there, he was watching, and he had headsets on. He's watching the scene, and this is the scene where I shoot the guy in the head. So he takes off his headset and he starts walking towards me. Once director says cut, and he walks up to me. He said, "Oh, we shoot motherfuckers in broad daylight now." Excuse my language. You know what I mean? So that's what he says to me, and I'm like, yeah, this is what we do. And so after that, we just start talking about just different things and about the process, and where I'm from. And he was telling me about, he gets to see all these auditions. And, I'm just telling him about, we need to give him his flowers, just like we give Tyler Perry his flowers. They get a lot of us, work. Look at Tommy, look at Maury Hardwick playing Ghost. Look where their careers took off. So I feel this will be the breakthrough role for me. And yeah, man, 50 Cent was able to do that. And that was the only time he was there when I filmed. The only time I saw him. I think he was there other times on the set as well. But yeah, that was the only time he was there when I filmed. And yeah, that was a conversation. We spoke about 20, 25 minutes, just about different things, and I was letting him know I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and stuff like that. So it was a really, really cool conversation. But about my specific role itself was that one about, you shoot people in broad daylight.
It's good to know, like, that you can laugh with somebody like that. It's like, all right, cut, all right, get out of here. It's like, like you can interact with somebody like that. It's like, oh, he just
Yeah,
like us.
exactly, because he's larger than life. So to be able to have that conversation with him, and he appreciate the work that you put in, it's an amazing feeling.
Well, what I also like about you now too, because like I have to remember this now too, like because I wasn't old enough to understand the wire, like odds at the time, and plus social media wasn't as active at the time. Now we live in the age of social media where we can watch something and tweet about it the next minute. What I like about this is like, you be responding to some of the BMF tweets I'll be seeing on here. It's like, so what are those questions going to now, knowing that, how this series is going to film out? Do you watch it with everybody else? Like, do you like just like, and do you just like go on social media and see the reactions? Like, I'm curious because the finished product.
Yeah. I still watch it like everybody else, because even though you know what's gonna happen because you've seen the script, you read the script,
Yeah.
you're always excited to see, how it's gonna be put out there, because remember, once they edit it, some things get cut out. So I've seen where certain scenes like, oh man, they cut this out, but it was script. One of my exciting scenes that I wanted to see from episode one was when Eric, Kofi came back, Lamar.
Oh yeah.
So I want to see how that was going to be cut and put together, because you know how the script is. But then, like I said, when the final product comes, they may shoot a little bit different. So the process was so dope to see, especially what was funny to see was the initial trailer. Where the trailer would look like I was going to be the bad guy throughout this season, right? So everybody thought I would be replacing Lamar. So that's why I was excited, and would tell Eric all the time, I said, man, I can't wait till you pop out because everybody can know you're back.
They're gonna lose it.
All right, so now we 4 episodes in, and I know a lot of people want to see if I go against Lamar. So they have to just keep tuning in and watching. But yeah, I'll continue to answer tweets and DMs, and we've talked about the show because I'm a fan of the show. I'm able to look out from the outside, looking in as a fan, and be able to tweet in the moment and not spoil anything.
See, like I like how you said that too, because a trailer can be deceiving now too, or like even like with the first couple seasons, like second we see, it's like, okay, Lamar's dead. So is this guy gonna be? And then we see Lamar. It's like, oh, okay. So this is taking a whole new turn. So I like how you're humble about it too, and like you don't just completely stay off social media. Like you actually engage, and us as the fans, we appreciate that. So I'll be honest, we thank you, sir.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course, we thank you guys for watching the show and being a part of it. The success wouldn't be a success without you guys.
Yes, sir. Now, as we come to an end of this interview, sir, now too, I was curious now too, going on from BMF now too, I was curious now too, like, what do you hope to accomplish now too? Like, what's the like, did you want to shoot like TV shows or movies? Like, what's the end goal for you, sir?
Well, I think for myself, what I would love to be next, because this is what they would call this in the acting world, they'll call it a major recurring role, right? I would want to be a series regular. So series regular is the role that, let's say, for example, Lamar is, right? He's in every episode. So he's what you would consider a series. That's what I would hope and I would love to happen next. I'm also doing big, high budget movies. The likes of, let's say, for example, the Denzel movie, being a movie with Denzel and being one of the main characters alongside Denzel. So that will be the next step that I'm looking forward to. And I think being the amount of work I put into a role and the experience that I had, the longevity that I've been in this business, I think I might be ready for that next step once it comes.
Man, so I really do hope that I really do hope K9 survived the season, because if I'm gonna blow stars up. I was like, yo, what are you guys doing, yo? But I understand, this is what happens though. But I look forward to watching your career blossom. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I found you through barbershop. I found you through BMF. So you know what, Mr. Lawrence, I wish you nothing but success, and all the dreams you're coming, so they're coming your way. So be prepared, because they're coming.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, sir. Now, is there anything that I can let the fans know before we let you go, sir?
Yeah, continue to support the show. Thank you. I got a movie coming out right after this called First Comes Love, Then Comes Murder. You could also follow me on IG, Twitter at Rayan Lawrence, RayanLawrence. As you know, like you said, I do answer my messages. I don't get to my messages as fast as I used to, but I'll get to it.
That's why it's understandable.
Yeah. But the tweets I probably can get to faster than the IG messages. That I can get to faster. But yeah, continue to watch my career and continue to watch the show, like I said before. And it's gonna be some more crazy things. You haven't seen anything yet. Or what K9 is about to do is about to be on.